Hey, welcome back, everyone.
Oh, wait, what? Good evening and welcome to another episode of Hitting for the Cycle. I'm your host, Hank and Dichter, and as always, we have a good amount of stuff to be discussing today. But before I get into all that, I want to give you guys a friendly neighborhood reminder. Please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Review and Preview Sports. And of course, whether you're watching this here on Facebook Live or whether you're watching it on our YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like. Give us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. This show is for you guys as well. And without further ado, I would like to bring on my guest for the day, BX Bomber 2011, who, as a matter of fact, I just saw not too long ago at my favorite place in the Bronx. Frank, how's it going, my man?
Good, man. Everything's been good, man. It's been great baseball, been being played. I mean, what can you ask for? Nothing to complain about so far,
Oh,
except
I
for
know.
Joey Gallo. But that's, I mean, did I say something wrong?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I guess we can't really have everything here. I mean, you're doing pretty well. You got to have some guy that's heading to a slump, but you know what? It is what it is. And yeah, we might as well start off by talking about our New York Yankees. And I got to say, this weekend was probably one of the most roller coaster regular season series that I have seen the Yankees participate in a very long time. You start off with a crazy come from behind win in the ninth inning of the first game. Second game, the only really hit you get is the Giancarlo Stanton, or the only big hit you get was the Giancarlo Stanton home run. And then the third game, there was no big hit because they got combined no hit. And then the fourth game, you had what appeared to be deja vu, but then all of a sudden, Giancarlo Stanton hits another home run. DJ LeMahieu ties it with the home run, and then they get out of a crazy bases-loaded jam in the 10th inning, and then Aaron Judge finds a way to walk it off and be the hero. Frank, take me through your thoughts this weekend. What were you thinking about the Yankees? Are you starting to think that maybe this could be a year they finally, end that World Series drought? Because this was pretty magical.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I was online checking to see if my Medicaid card is still working, because the way the Yankees play, man, they'll give you a heart attack, they'll give you a stroke. I don't know, man, they can kill you, man, the way they play sometimes. But the atmosphere with the Houston Astros was like playoff, man. I mean, wow, that was the biggest games I think heard. I mean, the crowd heard the crowd like that since maybe 2017 playoffs, man. I mean, that's how great it was. I mean, it really felt like, and with all the pandemic happening, and then to see the fans react the way they do to Altuve, and can we not please say F Altuve no more? He's got it. He's gonna hit a home run if you say it, please. I think all of Yankee Stadium should just be quiet when he comes up to bat. I think that'll be awesome, because we're giving this guy too much power, man. But that's gonna be our arch rivalry, man. Yankees, Astros, the playoffs, maybe for the championship. How you say, league championship series might be Yankees, Astros.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. I think that's what's gonna be. And if we can't beat the Astros, the Yankees winning 50 games, 100 games doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? We gotta control these guys. So yeah, and then to go on to the A's, play the Oakland Athletics. It kind of showed the world, like, okay, we had trouble with Houston, but guess what? This is not a fluke. You know what I mean? We're gonna show that we can beat up the A's too. But they had to come back and win against the A's as well. So, it's a little struggle there. Montgomery fell apart. Talion fell apart in those games, but the team held it together. They just this team doesn't have. I mean, this team has the doesn't quit mentality. So that's why these guys are. How many comeback wins do they have now? 21, 20 something like that. I forgot the count it was, but
yeah.
It's
I think that's right. Not to mention they already have 10 walk-off wins too.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how the way they're playing. I mean, could you imagine that we thought 2019 was the biggest thing because they had the next man up guy and they were playing well, just like they were doing now. Come back from wins, walk-off wins. But now they're doing it like they're supposed to. Like pretty much if you watch the Yankees play right now, you expect them to win. That's the way they're playing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun to see it back, man. It's great, man. How you feeling about it, man?
I'm enjoying every single minute of this. And look, make no mistake, let's not kid ourselves. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's great that we're 36 games over 500, the higher mark, as John Sterling likes to call it. And, we're probably going to have the best record in baseball up until the All-Star break at the very least. And having a very comfortable first-place lead, which, is especially huge when you look at the division. I mean, you have the Blue Jays who were the ones that were supposed to be doing all this damage, whether it be hitting-wise, pitching-wise, but they're kind of like underachieving. I mean, they've gotten better over the course of the season, certainly, but, you expected much more out of them. The Tampa Bay Rays always going to be a thorn in the Yankees side because, I mean, look, they may not have the star power like we do, but they are very good at developing. That's long since been established. And, of course, you have the Boston Red Sox, who at one point went on a stretch where they had won, 10 games in a row, and yet they couldn't even not only could they not even gain ground on the Yankees, they lost 2.5 games during that, as crazy as that sounds. And not to mention, I think I'm talking about the stretch where they won 17 of 21. But still, you had a 10-game winning streak in there. they've been hot, but even though they're in second place, it feels like if you're a Red Sox fan, you got to be pretty frustrated because you still got like a long hill to climb right there. But no, as far as the Yankees go, I'm feeling great. They're winning games that like in years past you haven't seen in like forever. Like, do you think in any other year Aaron Hicks would have been the one that hit a game-tying home run against a team like the Houston Astros? No chance. And the 2 games that they had won, like they had no business winning. Like most years, you go into the 9th inning trailing by a run or 2 against the Astros. The assumption is you're either going to go down 1, 2, 3 in the 9th, or you'll have the bases loaded, and then it'll be strikeout, pop-out, strikeout, or vice versa. So it definitely feels different. I think the pitching is better. Now, I do have a little bit of concerns about the pitching going forward. I think some people are kind of worrying about this man right on my shirt, Nasty Nestor, because he's had bad games for the past 3 starts in a row. Although, if you really think about it, that game he pitched against Houston, all things considered, the only mistakes he made were the home runs that he gave up. So, what are your thoughts regarding Nasty Nestor? He had an insane start to the season. Do you still think he's a guy you should feel comfortable giving the ball to down the stretch, or are you worried that this uncharted territory with him pitching all those innings is going to come back to hurt them?
Yeah, you know what? It could go either way. You're right, but I think Yankee fans, Yankee management, Yankee team, take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and we'll figure it out when we get there. They got Domingo Germán on his way up to the majors, back to Yankee Stadium soon, so they will implement a 6-man rotation somehow coming up going forward. So they will get some type of rest. So the Yankees are already prepared for this already. So they're going to do what it takes to have these guys prepared, man, for playoff time. I truly believe it, man. And they just got to take it one game at a time, man. They're going to have bad games. They're going to have good games. Just like with the no-hitter on Saturday. Always remember, too, Yankee Stadium, the day game sometimes could be a problem for players, too, because they can't see the ball as well. So, they might have had a glare back there, and it was just a perfect atmosphere for that no-hitter. You know what I mean? So, will it ever happen again? I don't know. Maybe not, but it's... You know what? But in Major League Baseball, period, there's been a lot of flirtations with perfect games and no-hitters so far. So don't be surprised it happens again. Hopefully the Yankees get a turn and get a no-hitter, But I think Nasty Cortez, Cole should be fine. Severino should be fine. Montgomery, I think all these guys should be good. And the bullpen is amazing right now. So it's like, you can't ask for a better rounded team. Than ever, man. Wow, man. And talk about Jose Trevorino. He might be the second catcher in the All-Star game this year, because as well as be playing, he's second on the ballot behind I forget who it is right now, but who would have thought this guy would be doing? I think he's done more than Sanchez ever done in his whole career as a Yankee than Severino has done in these few months as a Yankee. You know what I mean? For as contributing to the team. But wow, man, these Yankees are something else, man. They're already compared to 1998, and 1998 was the greatest team ever the Yankees had. So imagine if they can even be compared to that. There's something special happening here. Hopefully, the first half was good. Hopefully, the Yankees can continue this in the second half. That's what we're talking about now. Do these guys have the gas to make it through the dog days of August and September? September, it's going to be great games in September. Toronto, Boston, all these guys are coming in there. Oh, man, it's going to be... it's going to be one hell of an ending, man, to this season. That's all I know. So the Yankees having a 50-game lead or whatever they have, man, doesn't mean nothing until they can prove it, So let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, that is especially true if the Red Sox continue to play well, and the same could be said about the Blue Jays and the Rays, because like there's a reason we've all called the AL East the best division in baseball. And by the way, I think the catcher you were thinking of was Alejandro Kirk of the Toronto Blue Jays. He at this point has won well over 1,800,000 votes. And you are also correct, though, that Jose Trevino has 695,000 votes. I'm not giving the exact total. I'm like rounding
he's
it
second.
up.
He's second. So yeah. So it's nice to see him make
Our
it.
viewers aren't really going to be able to math. So, yeah, no, Trevino has been an absolute godsend as a catcher. And you want to know the crazy part is we pretty much got him for free because a few weeks ago they got Albert Abreu. And if you recall, the Yankees traded Albert Abreu to get Jose Trevino. And, you know, let's be real. We also got lucky to get Jose Trevino, too, because he probably isn't a Yankee if Ben Rortvedt doesn't have that injury. Now, whether Rortvedt would have been contributing like Trevino was right now, who's really to say? I mean, I still think the Yankees ended up winning that Twins trade. And if you asked me before the season, I also would have told you that that was a win because, you know, forget the fact that you're taking Josh Donaldson and his, like, contract, which I pretty much would call the Gary Sanchez tax at this point. Like, you still filled needs with shortstop and catcher. And, you know, IKF has been another solid addition. And Trevino is a guy who not only is a good situational hitter, but he is pretty much everything defensively that Gary was not. And there are pretty much reasons why, if you look back at a lot of the episodes, I ripped Gary mercilessly, and I pretty much stand by that. By the way, I'm sorry I kind of did this a little too late, but we have a few comments, both of them coming from my buddy Garth Michael Patrick of the Sports Box. Garth, how's it going? What's up, guys? Hank, how the heck are you, my man? I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I'm still kind of in hockey withdrawal. I'm sure you probably feel the same way. So sorry about your Lightning, my guy, but hopefully we can meet up, whether it be up in New York or in Florida for a game. So that would be pretty cool. And on the other side of things, don't count out those Braves. Oh, Garth, trust me, we will get to the NL East pretty soon. But yeah, I have not counted out those Braves at all. Even when the Mets pretty much had that streak where they weren't even losing series. I mean, let's be real. The Braves were the defending World Series champions, and I always was of the belief that they had the better lineup and pitching staff. But again, I'll get to that a little bit later. I want to continue back to what I was saying about the Yankees. And, you know, it's going to be a tougher schedule coming up because after today's game against the Astros, we're up. It's 0-0, by the way. There's 2 outs, bottom of the third. Count 2-2 on, I believe it's Kyle Tucker who's batting. Hopefully Severino can get out of this jam. You got the Guardians, who have been a team that's kind of been a threat in the AL Central. Definitely one of the surprises with Jose Ramirez having an MVP-like season, and I feel like he'd probably get a lot more consideration. If it wasn't for a certain tall right fielder who wears number 99, I'm sure you probably heard of him. His name's Aaron Judge. And then you got 2 games in Pittsburgh, but then 4 at Fenway. I think you have 2 Red Sox series coming up before the All-Star break happens. So this will pretty much be a good stretch, another good litmus test for the Yankees right there. But I'm really enjoying this. I think the one guy, though, that really, as far as to get to your point about the bullpen, Frank, I don't know about you, but I really think at this point we need to just make Clay Holmes the permanent closer.
Yeah, I'm truly, I'm already, how you say, converted. I'm already converted. If they bring back Chapman and put him as the closer, I think we should all go down to Yankee Stadium and riot, pitchforks and blazing fire pitches and stuff like that. You know, where are you, Chapman? Hey, and talk about Chapman, I would never question Chapman ever again. I don't know how he finds these guys or what. I don't know how he does it, but he finds them and they work out, and sometimes they don't. I know most of the time, but wow, it's working out this time. You know what I mean? Like you was talking about earlier, man. But yeah, man. I mean, these guys all deserve it. Hey, and you mentioned Aaron Judge. How about that catch he made in center field yesterday? That was yesterday against the Oakland A's, man. I mean, the guy hit a line shot straight center field. Aaron Judge went turning. He lost the ball, turned it again, and caught it. Wow, man. I mean, I think he's a way better center fielder than he is right fielder. I don't know how people don't see that, man. I thought he didn't play right field that well anyway.
I can't believe we're saying this too.
Yeah, man. I always thought, because I always thought that Aaron Judge can't move to his left or his right very quickly. So anything down the line in right field will be an automatic double on Aaron Judge. But for some reason in center field, he has like superpowers out there, man. It's like he catches every ball. He runs things down the gap. I mean, you can't get a ball by him. I mean, wow. I mean, they got to give this guy, I mean, some crazy money next year, man, for the Yankees, man. It's going to be one contract sign. I think it might be historical, too. Be prepared.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's gonna get bank without a doubt. And let's shift gears a little bit and talk about that other team that plays in Queens. You know, they got swept by the Houston Astros. They're 47-29, and you know, I was on Review and Preview with Tom last night for our episode, and if you know Tom, or for anyone who's watched our show or Review and Preview and has seen Tom, whether it be in the comments or as a guest or on Review and Preview itself, you'll know that he is one of, if not the most pessimistic Met fans you will ever meet. And, you know, he straight up said that, like, after they got swept by the Astros, he's really not enjoying what's going on with the Mets, despite the fact that they're in first place. Now, granted, I don't know if I necessarily would be as angry as Tom is right now if I were a Met fan, because, like, look, at the end of the day, they're still competing for a playoff spot. They still pretty much are in first place. They still have the best record in the National League. Maybe not the best record in their own city or Major League Baseball itself, but, you know, still a solid start. But when you look at that team, injuries or not, there are flaws. Like, the Yankees may have an Aaron Judge who's got 29 home runs, and we're right at the end of June, which is absolutely insane. And they may have a Giancarlo Stanton who will just casually hit, like, you know, 5 home runs in 6 games. But the Mets, on the other hand, the only guy you're seeing in that lineup with that production is Pete Alonso. And while Jeff McNeil, you know, is one of the guys that you can always rely on to be a clutch hitter, and Brandon Nimmo to an extent, you look at that pitching and you look at everyone else in that lineup compared to the Braves, there's a reason why I was never sold on them to begin with. And you look at the Braves, they've got Ian Anderson, Charlie Morton, and Max Fried, and also they have that young pitcher, Steven Strider, who's been pretty good. I think that's a team that's getting hot all the time. And, you know, I was talking to my buddy Noah Dibler, Sports Fox. He lives in Georgia. He's a hardcore Braves fan, and he's also a recurring guest on the show, too. He said that the Braves should have probably won 6 games in that 7-game stretch against both the Giants and the Dodgers. So I think that really tells you all you need to know. And, I didn't even mention the fact that they're probably get Soroka back, although Soroka, you know, hasn't pitched in a while, so who knows how rusty he will be. But when you consider the fact that they're defending champions, and when you consider all else with them, there's no doubt in my mind the Braves are going to overtake the Mets and win that at least.
I don't know about that one. I'm not a Mets fan, but I don't know about that one. Hey, Mets fans should not worry, because their pitching staff is doing well right now. And Wednesday, Max Scherzer has pitched in a Double-A game in Binghamton, so he's coming back. Then you got Jacob deGrom coming back in the middle of the season. The perfect time to have both these guys come back and take on that second half, that grueling haul, you know, into the playoffs. So, I'm not a Mets fan, even though I am a big Brooklyn Cyclones fan, number one. But I don't know, man. The Mets, they got something going on over there, man, and we can't put a finger on it, but they got some magic happening. So, can the Braves beat the Mets? That's the question. Can the Braves beat the Mets? Because the Mets, when they come back full force, Matt Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, all these guys, man, I don't know, man. That's gonna be something to watch. That's gonna be something to watch.
Now, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate to what you just said, Frank, because yes, you're right. They are going to get Max Scherzer back, and potentially they could eventually get Jacob deGrom back shortly thereafter. However, my one concern with the starting rotation is I don't know if we can necessarily assume for sure that everyone is going to be 100% the same, have the same effectiveness that they did before the season. Now, I will give a few pitchers some credit. Like, Chris Bassett's kind of been like an A.J. Burnett-like pitcher for the Mets. I'm sure you remember Alan James very well when he was a Yankee. He was either really good, really bad, but never in between. But when he had his good starts, those have definitely been helpful for the Mets. And when you look at the last game they played, they lost 2-0 to the Astros. They only had a total of 2 hits, which I think would definitely concern a lot of the crowd who says that, like, the Mets haven't won against any legitimate opponents. And if Taijuan Walker, that being said, they got to thank Taijuan Walker because he's been probably their best pitcher over the course of the past month. And I'll tell you another good thing that's happened for the Mets this month. They've actually had a winning June for like the first time in, it's got to be at least a decade. I think 2012, if I'm mistaken. So, they definitely have some bright spots, but again, I do think there's room to be, I think there's room to be concerned if you are a Mets fan. But with that being said, you also have to give credit to Buck Showalter. He has absolutely changed the culture of that clubhouse. And, you obviously lived through the era from when he managed the Yankees. So
I was there,
know that he has a reputation of pretty much, turning around a team and helping to sort of teach them how to win and get them back to relevancy. So I think he's definitely had a really good effect on the Mets, and there was no doubt in my mind that he was the perfect manager for them to hire.
You got that right, man, and it only proves that the Steinbrenner method works. If you spend the money, you have the team. You know what I mean? And that's what the Mets are proving pretty much. They spent all this money, and it's happening. You know what I mean? So I guess, hey, the George Steinbrenner method works, man. If you spend the money on a team, you'll win a championship, So, I mean, or get close to it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you really want is the hope of getting in. You know what I mean? You're paying for the chance to be in it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But it takes a lot.
Oh, yeah, right.
It takes a lot to win, but they did spend the money and they got all the pieces and puzzles put together. So, like I said, with all these guys coming back and hopefully the team could be 100% going down the line, wow, man, the Mets are going to be something to watch. Mets, Yankees, Subway Series, I'm hoping for it, man. I'm really hoping for it, man. That's why I hope that they do well so they can be maybe another World Series, Subway Series. Who knows?
See, here's the thing. I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not I truly want a Subway Series because, let me put it to you this way. Like, would it be cool for the city of New York and good for, like, national media attention? Absolutely. But if you're a fan, you are pretty much going to have absolute agita because, if your team loses that series, you're going to be hearing about it pretty much all winter long. So that's the other factor to think about. And, to piggyback off on what you said about the Steinbrenner method, I would say so no. I think it does work it does work to a certain extent, but you also have to really have the right players, to have that success. And I think, you also have to kind of have the right manager, because I think we tend to forget when we look at the Yankees in the late 90s, like, they won with a lot of home run guys. The G's and the A-Rods didn't really come until the guys like the O'Neills and the Tino Martinez's retired. I didn't include Bernie Williams because he was still pretty much there, but eventually he ended up retiring too. So I don't know if I necessarily called the Steinbrenner method successful. I mean, look at the Dodgers. Like, they've spent a lot of money. They've spent a lot of money for years too, and while it's gotten them to relevancy, the only championship they won is a championship that a lot of people are kind of questioning the relevancy because it came during a shortened season. But even then, I still think that team was extremely talented. So I don't know if I'd want to take away that World Series trophy. But in any event, it's a great time to be a baseball fan in the New York metropolitan area. I mean, I think the last time that both teams were pretty much relevant was probably the 2006 season, or, well, either that or probably the 85 season when both of them were competing for the division, although unfortunately neither of them made the playoffs. But both of them had
2000. 2000
and 2004, so I forget that season. I mean, granted, the Mets were pretty much a wild card team because the Braves won that division, but I think, 2006 was really the last time both the Yankees and the Mets were, like, doing well in the city of New York. And
to talk about the Braves real quick.
At the risk of bringing it down, I thought the Mets won the World Series that year.
Right. To talk about the Braves real quick, do you think Freddie Freeman regrets leaving the Atlanta Braves? Everybody's saying that he has a big regret leaving the Atlanta Braves. Do you think so, or do you think he's over it?
He would. I'm sure he probably does feel that way to an extent because, like, everybody legitimately thought that Freddie Freeman was going to be leaving the Atlanta Braves at the end of that World Series that they won, because he was pretty much the face of the franchise. He had been there since through good times and bad, and he was the glue that held that locker room together. An incredible first baseman, and you could tell his heart was really in the city of Atlanta. So I would have been harder pressed to have assumed that he was going to go. But the what that agent did was pretty shady, and I'm told that it's probably not uncommon for any agent to, like, hide a deal like your hometown team made just so that your client can get a better deal elsewhere. And that was definitely a pretty slimeball move on the part of Casey Close, and I can see why he got fired. And I'm sure if Freddie Freeman was still with the Braves, I think they'd either be right where they are now or they'd be better. But even if he's with the LA Dodgers, who are still one of the better teams in the National League, and I still think they're easily a threat, I would imagine he probably does kind of regret that to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But the Braves are all right, though, man. They're playing very well, even with Albies that he got hurt. So I mean, hey, I don't know, man.
By the way, you want to know what felt strange about the Braves Dodgers series?
Right.
Game two, the one that the Braves won. Freddie Freeman went up against Kenley Jansen, and Noah posted this on Facebook. But imagine being a Braves fan and actively rooting for Kenley Jansen to get the save, and rooting against Freddie Freeman, who, if you're a Braves fan from at least this generation, was pretty much like your childhood hero, essentially.
Yeah, he was like the Derek Jeter of Atlanta Braves for a little bit. It's sad, man, to see him go, but hey, he's gonna do well over there in the Dodgers, man. He's already doing well.
Yeah, I think so too. And speaking of the Dodgers, they've been dealt with some pretty bad injuries. Most notably was the Mookie Betts injury. I believe he had fractured a rib, and besides him, you've also lost Bryce Harper to a fractured thumb. And Frank, I gotta say, this is really bad for the game of baseball to see, like, a lot of your stars out. And I'm not even getting into the fact that the Padres are without Manny Machado for a little bit of time, and they already lost Fernando Tatis, that stupid motorbike injury, and then you've also,
that was crazy, Same thing with Pete Alonso. He was in a car accident in spring training and survived that, you know? So, and these guys, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just a season that you can't really prepare for if you get hurt. You know what I mean? And some teams, man, value these players so much that one guy hurts the team, period. I mean, the Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, that destroys them, period. I mean, they can't come back for that until and then when they do come back, are they going to be 100%? You know what I mean? Are they going to be automatic outs? You know, automatic strikeout? What, you know, how are they going to play? So it's going to be something to see, man. And plus, they won't be back until the ending of the season, around the ending of the season. So, you know, that's in a time where you need to be hot, you know, and already on fire. You can't be coming back cold, you know, and trying to play, man. That's difficult to do, you know, from an injury. So let's see what happens, man. You know, but he could be.
I didn't even mention the fact that the Braves are without Ozzy Albies and Ronald Acuna.
Yeah.
Missed a bit of time too.
Yeah, that's how I said earlier. Albies is missing, so and they're still playing well. So they got something special going on there too. But can they beat the Mets is the question. You know, let's see. I don't know, man.
Again.
And remember, Met fans are always Met fans are always with
Sorry, go ahead.
They Met fans like to hatch their eggs before they hatch. You know what I'm saying? And they panic, man. And if you're a Met fan, you shouldn't be panicking at all. You guys are in the right place. Scherzer, Grom coming back. The Braves lost their best players. You just have to take it sail on down and see what happens. I don't understand, man. You know, I mean, the Yankees have to do the same thing as well. They have to be playing like if we're losing. You know, I think we should play like we're losing in the league and keep destroying these guys as much as we can. You know, because that's what they need to do. Get that, but I mean, and to look at the batting averages. Let me say. Have you seen the All-Star ballot itself? Of all the players? You want to talk about league leaders?
Yeah, I have it literally. I have it like right in front of me. So you've got Alejandro Kirk leading for catching, and we pretty much discussed that with regards to why Trevino wasn't quite number one. And then you got Vlad Jr., who of course is leading that one by a landslide. Second baseman Jose Altuve. Third base would be Jose Ramirez, again, MVP candidate. And then as far as shortstops go, you got Bo Bichette edging out Tim Anderson and Xander Bogaerts. And at DH, you got Yordan Alvarez, who he's been another solid prospect that the Astros had go through their system. And then, of course, you get to the outfield. Let's just say the outfield is the usual suspects. Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, George Springer. And yeah, this is a pretty good vote. And then you go to the National League, you got Wilson Contreras, Paul Goldschmidt, I believe Paul Goldschmidt's actually just a few points ahead of Luis Arias on the Minnesota Twins for like highest batting average in like the whole MLB. But Arias luckily plays for the Twins, so hopefully he'll get his league's batting title if the season ended today. And then second baseman, you got Jazz Chisholm, who also is on the IL. So it's been a brutal time for like a lot of these stars. And then,
but hold on. Check out the home run leaders between American League and National League. They don't even compare. In the National League, they have like 10 players with 30 more home runs, which is ridiculous. One guy got like 38 home runs already. I forget his name right now, but one guy got 38 home runs. Everybody has like 30 home runs or above. And in the American League, I think there's only like one or two guys that got 30 home runs or something like that. And poor Aaron Judge got, 29 so far or something like that. So it's creeping up, but it's amazing how many home runs that National League players have compared to American League players. It's wild. It's wild, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And actually, no, I'm pretty sure Aaron Judge is the league leader with 29. You said the NL guys have 30.
In American League, National
Yeah, the
League,
American League, sorry.
Yeah, National League. There's
Sorry,
like
I
10
got confused with
guys.
what you're saying.
There's like 10 guys in the National League with like 30 more home runs. Check that out, which is ridiculous. It's crazy. In American League, we got like 2 guys, I think, that have 30 home runs or more, which is crazy.
I don't think we have any 30 home run hitters yet because, again, we're at the end of June. And the fact that Aaron Judge has 29. I mean,
So
I'll go over the
doesn't have
leaders.
one?
You got
I thought the
Kyle
American
Schwarber
League
and Pete
did.
Alonso. You said the American League had the. Sorry, we're
American
having a
League.
brain fart.
American League has what?
Oh, yeah.
No 30 home run hitters, right? And National
Judge,
League,
Trout, Alvarez, Rizzo, those guys all have over 20 home runs. And Byron Buxton.
okay, we're talking about over 30. Over 30. Nobody has over 30. In the National League, there's like 10 guys that have over 30 home runs. Check that out. It's ridiculous. It's like over 10 guys with 30 home runs in the National League. It's like there's something going on. I don't know whether it's the pitching or are they just hitting better or we just can't hit. There has to be something going on, man. Why they have more home runs than the American League do? You know? And remember, they say that the Bulls are juiced this year. So maybe they're getting juiced to Bulls. I don't know. So let's see what happens, man. But it's weird to see that.
I don't know where you saw that because I think the league leader with home runs in the National League is a tie between Schwarber and Pete Alonso. I think they're in the mid-20s. But I will say this, though. If there's one guy that isn't really getting affected by any home runs in the National League, it would definitely be Tony Gonsolin of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 9-0, 1.58 ERA. He's probably the Cy Young Award winner should the season end today. And if you're going to ask me the American League Cy Young Award winner, got to go with Justin Verlander, who became the first pitcher to win 10 games. And that story in and of itself is pretty crazy because Justin Verlander is late 30s. You know, he missed time due to Tommy John surgery. And for him to have Cy Young caliber numbers, now, again, for all we know, what if it's not the Astros cheating, but still, 10-3, 2.03 ERA. He's got a 0.83 WHIP, and then his strikeout to through 9 inning ratio is 8.3. And yeah, he's having a really good renaissance, and he's a big reason why the Astros are pretty much still a threat.
Yeah, man, it's wild, man. It's wild, man. This is a great season, man. I think whatever they're doing to the baseballs made it a big difference. You know what I'm saying? And they actually making the game fun again, if it makes anything. You know, I mean, people are actually watching, actually going to games now. It's a big difference. You know, and
you and I would be there regardless.
Yeah, I mean, and to go right back to Garrett Cole real quick. I don't know if you have seen this. Have you seen the replays on this guy's pitching? Yo, he has balls going up, down, sideways, turning. I mean, wow. I mean, whatever he's doing, he has to keep it doing because everybody knows that he was using Spider Tack and whatever. And now he's found a way to deliver that baseball, which is amazing, man. It's amazing, man, to see guys like that prove people wrong. And that's what Garrett Cole is doing. So, I mean, how these guys are hitting home runs, I don't know, man. But, wow, I mean, they do it, man. And it's making a lot of fun. I can't wait for the home run derby in the All-Star game, you know, and the All-Star game itself. But I wish they would add more skill competitions to it to make it a lot better, you know, other than the home run derby. So it gets boring sometimes, you know, but let's see what happens, man. The Yankees, MLB, they listen to us sometimes, you know? They listen to us. Like, I came up with the idea of the Columbine for baseball, and now baseball has their own Columbine like NFL does now. So somebody's listening.
Yeah.
You know? And then I think that's in July 20-something. I think they're going to have that. I forget where. And I think in Houston or I think it's Houston A's, Houston Astros over there. I think they're gonna have it in that stadium, the Combine, of players doing their skills and stuff like that. So that's gonna be fun to watch, man. Other than the All-Star game, so we got some entertainment on our way. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to watch how the rest of the season plays itself out. But anyways, Frank, as always, I want to thank you again for joining us on Hitting for the Cycle. I believe this is the second time you've been a guest. You were on actually, I think either my second or third show that I ever hosted, like way back in the first season. So
yeah, man,
it's amazing how far like come, and glad we finally got to see each other at a game this year. And before we sign off, in the true tradition of not just this show but any review and preview show, can you please do us the honors of giving us a plug for yourself?
Hey man, I'm the BX Bomber 2011. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube, and mostly YouTube and Instagram. It's the same everywhere, but BX Bomber 2011. I'm on all social media, and I'm at Yankee Stadium, man. Pull up, we outside, and yeah, man, it's all about having a good time, man. And talking about baseball. So come on down, man, and I give you a tour of how Yankee Stadium should be looking. And
yes,
on my channel, Yankee Stadium is the character, Yankee Stadium is the theme. So it's all about Yankee Stadium in my vlog. So if you like Yankee Stadium and that type of content, come on down and subscribe. That's it. BX
and you've done some good minor league games too.
Yeah, man, I'll be at the Brooklyn Cyclones this week, man. 4th of July, and I'll be back there on Thursday for another game with the Brooklyn Cyclones. That's so much fun over there. I don't know if you ever been to a Brooklyn Cyclones game, but you should, man. I mean, that's the best baseball. I mean, so much fun over there. I mean, doesn't even. I mean, the Mets system, they know how to gravitate towards fans and make fans happy. I mean the way the Cyclones do it, no other team does it. Not the Somerset Patriots, not the Rail Riders, not any other team does it better than the Brooklyn Cyclones. And that's a fact, man. They got it so nice over there. So everybody, if you're a New Yorker and you live in the 5 boroughs, you should be going to a Brooklyn Cyclone game. You hang out on the beach for the day, baseball game at night, and you go home happy, man. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely perfect.
Yo.
Well, thanks again, Frank, for coming on. And folks, by the way, that's where you can find him on YouTube at BX Bomber 2011. But folks, besides just following Frank, please don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Review and Preview Sports, as well as TikTok, of course. And obviously, last but not least, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Give us a like. Give us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. And, of course, you have just watched another episode of Hitting for the Cycle. Until next week, I'm your host, Hank and Dichter, and I will see you guys later.
That's right. Peace.
All right. That was fun.
That was beautiful, man. Perfect.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh man, and I am spent.
I hear you, man. You got to go to work tomorrow, right? You got to work tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you, man. You got to deal with those kids, man. I don't blame you, man.
They cry.
I know they got all these needs and problems.
Oh my gosh. I had like one kid have like a chocolate milkshake in his pants at the end of the day. That's my code for,
That's when you grab out the big fire hose. Hose them down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know, man. That's a lot of work, man, to deal with them kids, man. I can't. I just feed them, man. Imagine.
It is, but you know what? At the end of the day, like, it's not a bad job to have, like, for the summer. So there you go. Well, anyways, I gotta get going. I am gonna like download the videos and the audio and stuff like that. So I'm sure I will see you again at the stadium. I'll definitely
Yeah.
be at the Red Sox series.
I won't be at the Red Sox series. I'm gonna be. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing that weekend, but I'll definitely be back for every game. And the last homestand in July, I'll be there. Old Timers Day, I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
I'll be there for Old Timers
you
Day and
got
all that. So yeah, I'll be there. All the month of September, I'll be there. So I'm not gonna miss a game. So I'm gonna be at all of them. So yeah, man, I'll catch you.
Can't
later,
say
man.
that I blame you.
Absolutely.
All
man.
right, I will catch you. Have a good one, brother.
You too, man. See you.
See ya.